Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the High Soapbox, and we are live today from Squeezebox Records in Wilmington, Delaware. I am joined by the charismatic Richard Fisher today, who is the owner of this fine establishment, which is, by the way, and I've shouted it out a couple times over the past couple episodes in our shout-out segment at the end of the podcast. I've shouted out Squeezebox a couple times. It is the only vinyl store within the city of Wilmington. Is that correct?
That's right. We are the only record shop in Wilmington.
And what I love about this place is, I mean, I'm not a vinyl guy myself, but what I love about this place is it's as much of a museum to music history as it is a record shop. I mean, there's just old memorabilia from like the 70s, 80s, 90s all over the place. There's posters, live shows, Panic at the Disco, like everything. So it's just a very, very, really cool spot. And just to start, if you guys ever want to come here, they sell records online at squeezeboxrecords.com, and they have and you can come visit in person at those
1901 West 11th.
1901 West 11th.
In the city of Wilmington, yeah.
Yeah, so, Rich, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Evan. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. So, what made you want to get into the vinyl business in the first place?
Well, you know, back when I was a kid, now I'm an old guy now, but
you're not
still,
that old.
Well, I feel like it. So, but I still have the passion. You know, I think the passion for vinyl records, because when I was a kid, we called them records. We really didn't call them vinyl. That's something new in the past 10 years or something that has come out, and now everybody knows them as vinyls, which is great because there's a resurgence of these records, and man, I just love it. But when I was a child, you know, I always went to record shops because that's how we got our music back then, and or Kmart or whatever was, you know, the local retailer that was carrying records, and we would go in.
You're in a better place than Kmart is right now.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah, they're going bankrupt for the 15th time, I think. But anyway, so anyway, back then when I was a kid collecting, I really loved music, and I was, you know, and as I got into my teens, my brother became in a band, and we'd go to all these record shops, and just in the back of my head back then, you know, a little seed was planted. This is what I would like to do when you know, if the time presents itself, I'm going to do it. And over the years, you know, there's been some things that have happened to me that have afforded me the opportunity to do this. So a few years ago, I mentioned it to my wife again, which I mentioned a few times to her, that I wanted to open a record shop. And a few years ago, she kind of jumped on board. It wasn't like she was like, well, let's just wait and see. Something happened. I don't know what it was, but she was like, we need to do this. So, you know, and we had my collection, which was 15 to 20,000 pieces.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it was one of the few things, like a record store, I think, especially with the current climate towards it, like we're seeing an uptrend, you know. One of the interesting things about it is you are filling a niche in the city of Wilmington that hasn't been filled yet, because larger entities have not considered it valuable, you know. And I would say that your business model of pricing things for what they're worth versus versus making all the money, gives you an edge over other more corporate record stores.
That's true in a sense. The thing is, as you mentioned earlier, it's kind of like, you know, a history thing in here. The records in and of themselves, once they're made, they're here forever. Mm-hmm. So there's, you know, for us to get the new records, I mean, there's only so much we're allowed to mark up, and we try to go the low road because, as you mentioned earlier, this is a lot of history in here, but we sell the stuff. So if you come in and you want an old record that's kind of rare and we have it, you're able to purchase that. But if you want the new repress of it, it's sitting right next to it. So you have your, you know, you'd be able to...
Are you a collector, or do you just want the music?
For me, I do have a small collection, but
Or that was a rhetorical question, but let's go into that.
yeah, I do have a small collection, but it's not, I mean, our customers are amazing. Some of these guys come in here and literally have collections that you would, just love to have because they're so deep and so real and they're physical, and there's something to say about that. And I think that's, again, looking back to you saying, it's a niche company that's actually getting people here is because it is on the rise. People are buying records.
And because you're hitting that low end, it's more of it's like the lower end. You have the benefit of people, like, being appreciative of, like, not having to pay $8 for a copy of AC/DC Greatest Hits.
Right.
And you also have that, like, and you also have the added benefit of, like, making it records more accessible to people who might, not get them if they're that fucking expensive.
Yeah,
they might
sure.
as well just get online at that point. But at the same part, it also kind of becomes a bit more of a volume business in that regard.
It can be, but why we are here, the reason we are here is because of the history of records, of course, and we have to fill a niche. There's something. I'm very, very passionate about records, period. I'm not an audiophile. Don't know what, between high-end recording and just the regular press, if they play, I'm good.
Not a title subscriber, I presume.
No, right. So I'm good. If it's music, I'm good. And vinyl. And, so we play music in here 24/7. We do live shows. We have a, vintage equipment that we refurbish and resell because...
And it's immaculately maintained. And we're sitting in front of some of that set equipment right now, and it's immaculately maintained. I can see the quality from it.
Yeah. It's, well, that's the whole idea, right? If it was made back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they built it a little different than they do today. And the sound, the analog sound back then, these machines back then were built for analog. They weren't built for, like your surround sound system in your home. So those speakers, receivers, and stuff like that, you can't even hook up a turntable to them. They don't have a phono stage. So we take all that old gear that comes in, we refurbish it, and we offer it to give it a second life. And it's worked out amazingly. People love it.
From what I know, analog is you get a much more full and comprehensive sound from recording on analog.
Right, and that's where we go into CDs and whatnot. There's only so much. If you were to picture it as a rectangle box, and in that box there's all these little what do you call this?
Sound waves.
Sound waves, all bouncing off the top and bottom. That is analog. That's full analog. Now, if you take that same box and shorten it by 2 inches and just have the meat of the song, that's CD. So you're missing all the nuance in the song.
And you know what? The funniest part about all that is, that just goes to show, the transition from vinyl to tapes to CD to digital to now we're regressing again. It shows that convenience and cost effectiveness is able to overcome quality temporarily, but people always will always seem to go I found that it's a lot of younger people my age who are really into this records and stuff, simply because we didn't grow up listening to records on record players. We grew up most at least if you're 22 like me, you grew up with a CD or CDs and stuff, and then I grew up in a part of Maryland that was kind of about 5 years behind, picking up the technology of everybody. So I grew up basically a 90s baby in terms of the toys and technology and stuff. So I grew up with CDs and stuff like that, and then I moved on. I got an iPod later on when I was 10 or 12, and a little crappy iPod, and listened to music on that.
Right.
And I remember I was visiting a friend's house, and I was there with their grandparents or whatever, and I remember that the grandmother was like playing music on her old record player, and I heard Aretha Franklin like just belting, and I'm just like,
what?
And it's like my eyes started watering because it's like I've never heard, like, Aretha's already amazing, but it's like there's, and I've heard songs by her, like those some songs by her before, but it's like it's the level, like it was a audio quality I'd never heard in my life. You know, it's like it was a strength of sound that I had never experienced, and yes, I still listen to digital. I still listen to all because of course I do, but the key factor of it is like at the end of the day, it's like there are people who, like, I can understand how people my age will hear a record play for the first time, and they're just like, I need to hear all my music like this. I need to. I can't. I can't. Like, the experience will never be the same, you know. So I understand like why there's so many people who are willing to pay top dollar for like the newest, like pay a $20-$30 markup on an album they could get on they could just stream for $5 a month. Right.
And that's it, isn't it? It's all about the money.
And it's all about ownership too, because when you buy a record, you own that record. You know, you're not leasing the music like you are when you're streaming off of YouTube or Spotify or anything like that.
And that's one thing we bring to the table, is that we're a physical place. So, to your point, the idea that the record companies, the first thing they did was get rid of 45s. They said, all right, this 45 is going to be a hit, so let's not put it out as a single. Let's just put it out on the album, and everybody will buy the albums. People didn't do that. They just wanted the single. So now the record companies are saying, all right, we got rid of the 45s, but we have this thing called CD, and it'll get rid of the albums, and we can make it a quarter of the size of the album.
For a fraction of the price.
For the fraction of the price, but they'll pay $2 more. Not the same price, $2 more. It's new. You got to remember, CDs were new. People, late 80s, early 90s. And hey, look, man, I was one of the cats that dug that. I was like, yeah, let me check this out. After my first CD, I was like, what the hell is this? It's giving me nothing. First off, there's no, like, packaging. You know, it's just totally different than an LP. And the neat thing that had happened, though, is that in that transition period from 88 to 92, when they went totally to CDs, guys like me that were totally analog, the ones that kept their records, still have them and have gotten more because we knew what we liked. And then I'm sitting back, and one day this kid walks up to me and he goes, look at this, and he hits a button on his phone, and I'm hearing Aerosmith. I'm like, what's that? And he just what you were talking about, this is a streaming service. So back then, that streaming service was charging $1 a song or whatever, and you could download that song.
That was iTunes.
That was iTunes.
So and you know what's funny? iTunes buying music doesn't exist anymore. If you want to listen to music on Apple, you stream it. That's it.
You stream it and that's it. But they came out with the iPod back then, and to tell a kid, 15 years old, this holds 5,000 songs, and you can carry it in your pocket at $1 a song. Well, I'll buy one song this week. Next week I might be able to afford 4. And then by the end of the year, the kid's got, 120 songs, not one album. He's got 120 hits, right? Not one record.
And so it's like, and you know, as part of the problem that I think a lot of artists are having to deal with, it's because the record companies lost their cash cow.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they it's like,
yep.
like touring was how they made their money. You know, now the record, so it's, I have a lot of friends who do, and I'm sorry for for our listeners that you automatically hear a quality jump. I moved the microphone because we were both sitting back and we weren't facing it, so
kind of relaxing, folks.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
That's what this place is, though. You come in, I'd imagine you feel you're at home for the most part. People I've talked to about the shop, and we're just in our 3rd year, really love it. And they come back and they want to see what's new. They want to see who's playing on the Squeezebox stage. And you know that company, Third Man Records. Mm-hmm. They sent Olivia Jean here, and she played November 15th right on our stage. So, not only
I mean, granted, we're recording this on the, I believe, 28th of January.
Yeah.
And Joe Traynor is going to be performing here this Saturday.
Yeah, with Brandon Sheehan. They're doing an acoustic Beatles set on February 1st, 6 p.m.
Actually, to all of our listeners, I'm actually going to be having Mr. Traynor on, or Joe as he likes to be called, because I called him that, and he was like, nah. Joe's going to be on. Is actually going to be on next week's episode of the podcast. So look out for that. But
he's playing here this coming Saturday, February 1st, 6 p.m. Just to let your listeners know. It's,
the sad part about it is that this is coming out the Monday after that. So
so you guys won't hear this then.
Yeah, they're not unfortunately, but it is what it is.
Sure.
But that being said, what I was originally talking about was, like, I have a lot of friends who are like artists and they're trying to like get their stuff. And I mean, they pay their bills, they have normal job, they just they go hard on and on the side, you know, and the ones that are smart are the ones that are like my friends that are having some level of some success are the ones that learn how to produce.
Oh yeah.
The ones that learn how to make their own sound.
Right.
Because if you produce your own lyrics, your own sound, and your own everything, it's all you. You can go to Spotify, put it up, and then 100% of the revenue earned from that streams is yours.
Right.
If you're, say, Ozzy Osbourne or something, and you put out a new song or whatever,
An Ordinary Man's coming out. Keep an eye out for it. We'll have the physical copy here at Squeezebox, so it won't come out before you hear this. It'll be out a week or two after this comes out.
But if I was Ozzy Osbourne, I would never cancel every single contract I've ever had with every record company. I would call my one boy who is really, really good at producing, who I know is not affiliated with any of these companies. I would put him as the producer. He'd get he would get 20% of all the revenue from it, and then I would make it and put it on a streaming service, because these fucking record companies are taking all that streaming revenue.
Oh yeah, they are.
You know, it's like fucking what's his name from Aerosmith that took Spotify to court.
You mean Metallica?
Was it Metallica? No, I think it was
Aerosmith. Was it Joe Perry or Steve Tyler?
I think it was Steve Tyler. Steve Tyler was it?
Oh yeah.
Steve Tyler went to Spotify and said the amount of plays you owe me $275,000.
Right.
And then they got back to him. Here's 13. And gave him $13K. And they say you don't like it, sue us. And he did, and he lost horribly.
Wow. But I remember Metallica going up against Napster. That was that one.
They hated Napster.
And I was kind of pissed off at Metallica because I liked their music and Napster was giving it to me. It was wrong, but I kind of liked it.
Dude, we all everybody does it. If even federal agents who crack down on that kind of theft and stuff do it.
Oh yeah. It's just I was Napster, man, and
it's I have to like you enough that I want to pay for your shit.
Well, yeah.
You know, it's like when I can get anything for free digitally, that's like a movie, TV show, video game, music. I have to like you to pay for things. And that's the thing. A lot of people in my generation, we will pay top dollar. We'll give money to people we like so we can get more of that content because we like them.
Sure.
We not be if I don't like you, but I like a couple of the songs you've put out, I'll just look it up a bootleg thing somebody put up on YouTube and listen to that.
Yeah.
I'll just put my I have YouTube Premium. I pay $10 a month for no ads, and I'll just walk and listen to it that way. You know?
Yeah, that's streaming, right?
Essentially, yeah. You know?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about that techie stuff, streaming. I've never streamed in my life.
Well, why would you? You own a record store and a collection.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Records.
So when you start talking like that, I'm really not.
I'm sorry, my
educated enough to.
It's all good. It's all
good.
Through
the tech stuff. I just know that when I put a record on here, my whole body. All right, here's a little thing. This is how I know I love music. Because I'm sitting at home one day. I throw on some ZZ Top. I start playing it, man, and I'm jamming, right? And I'm just like, I got my eyes closed, I'm bopping, and there's a mirror like on my right-hand side where I'm sitting, and I'm kind of looking at it, but not really, and I'm listening to this music, and I look at myself, open my eyes, and I'm smiling. There's something going on there with music.
You're by yourself. You're just sitting there, just having a grand time,
and not even realizing it. That's the point, I guess. Is I didn't realize it, and I open my eyes, and I'm smiling. Right. That tells me that music really does something for me. My mood, the way I feel. Music has gotten everybody through a happy time, a sad time, a regular night out.
Exactly.
Music is the string that runs through all of us, and I don't care who you are, where you come from, what language you speak. It doesn't matter. Music
is the great equalizer.
It is certainly the benefit of mankind. We do music so others can feel good. Isn't that amazing? I write a song of how deep I feel, and somebody else likes it. Man, that's like, it's a miracle. It really is. Music is the healer.
If I've always considered something like laughter, humor, comedy to be the great equalizer. But like music's a lot like that too.
Music can make you laugh.
Yeah.
Music heals you. Music can make you cry.
Right.
I mean, music is we just benefit so much of these artists that give their life to music.
Some people literally giving their life.
I'm dead serious, man. They do it because there's this thing called passion.
Right.
And they have it. And you know what? I have passion for music, but it's more of listening to than anything else. Though I am going to write a song. I got a granddaughter on the way, and I'm going to do Bobby Hebe's Sunny. I got a couple of musicians lined up. We're going to do a little take on that. And,
as much as I want every person ever to listen to this podcast, I hope your daughter never does, so it's still a surprise.
Oh, it'll be a surprise.
I will say that's like. Moving on to more famous stuff. So, how many grandkids do you have at this point?
Let me count. I think 7.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, from 16 years old to I think.
Can you remember all their names?
Oh yeah. So Michael was the first,
right?
And then Anthony was second. Chloe was third. Ezekiel was fourth. No. Ezekiel wasn't fourth. It would be Jonathan fourth, Ezekiel fifth, Matthew sixth, and then little Jacob seventh. So, and then we got one in the oven, which is Sunny, and she'll be born in the next 6 months. So, we're all excited about that and bringing another little one into the world. And every one of my
Sunny is a lovely name.
Oh, her parents. That's why it fits so well. Her parents are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So it works really well with how they're, it fits them like a glove.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, Evan, and it's a fact. Every one of my grandchildren, from the age of 16 down to, Jacob, who's only a few months old, know what a record is. They
how many children today can grow up
knowing that? Yeah. So that's why we're bringing it. That's why we're here. So folks your age don't have to go into Grandma and Grandpa's closet and say, what's this big disc?
But I will say discovering it that way must be
amazing,
revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's here now, because that's what happened. Kids were like, "What is this? This is weird." And the artwork. I mean, literally, Evan, the artwork on every...
They're pieces of art.
Every cover ever made for vinyl. Every cover.
Some of my favorite albums covers probably are from the hip hop group A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
I love they look like Picasso surrealism type of they're just great.
I got to bring you back to something. A cat named Dave Brubeck has Picasso on most of his LPs.
Wow.
And they're collectible. And then you got bands, or you got the old jazz masters, man, with Andy Warhol doing their covers. These are collectible. Gospel, gospel with Savoy in them. They all are done by Harvey, and they're all collectible. People buy the jackets. They don't have to have the record. The jackets have become collectible because of the person who painted them.
Well, I mean, Picasso is an interesting character because, shit he doodled on a napkin could go for hundreds of dollars.
Oh, yeah. But when I say Brubeck, let's see if I have one over here. I can show it. Oh, right here. Look at that.
He has walked over to one of his things, and he's bringing it. Oh, wow.
That's a Picasso.
How much? And I can see why this record is $35.
Yeah, but that's cheap. If that thing was in mint condition, you're well over $100.
Yeah, and this would be going on squeezeboxrecord.com.
There you go. There it is. So, I mean, this is one of his most famous records, actually, and this is the Take 5 Blues stereo version, so it's the higher end one to purchase from him. But there's a lot of covers that famous artists have done. Here's one, a little trivia for you. So, a band called Poco.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, they're a rock band. A band called America. Mm-hmm. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. You know what I'm talking about?
It sounds familiar.
Oh, very huge bands, anyway. So they're Phil Hartman, the comedian, drew 7 different album covers that are in. And he did 4 for Paco, and I think 2 for America, and then a couple of other ones. You know who Phil Hartman is?
Yes.
Right. So he actually, before he became famous, drew these album covers. Is that amazing? It's just amazing.
It's honestly kind of surreal because
you don't think of Hartman like that at
all.
all.
It's like I see him as a guy who makes dick jokes on stage,
and that's it. But no, he's an accomplished LP cover artist.
An cover artist in the sense of he actually draws the cover art.
Right. Or he actually did. And it's important that, those little things are known too.
Right.
Because people, if you are a fan of any of those folks, and you know that now they're doing, these album covers that were done 40 years ago, but they're, and you can get them, and you're a fan, then certainly it's something you want to know.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if I would think this would be an interesting story to have on the podcast. At the front counter, you have a very artistic guitar hanging from the wall.
Yeah.
With that's signed by somebody. Can you tell me the story behind that guitar from the top?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So we had a friend that come into the shop over a period of time, became a really good friend of ours, Tino. And he was an artist in and of himself. He did both. He does, as you mentioned earlier, he produces, plays, sings, does the whole 9 yards himself. He has his own little recording studio in his bedroom at home. He has since moved to California. Anyway, he used to come in here all the time. We would talk, and he was a mover and a shaker, man. He had all kinds of stuff going on. One day he calls me. He says, "Hey, Rich, I have an artist friend, a photographer, who needs an acoustic guitar," and he contacted me. I grew up with this guy in junior high, and we've stayed friends, and now he's a photographer in New York, does a lot of big, heavy stuff. He's, shot Aerosmith and all these buildings, Guggenheim Museum, a lot of stuff. And this guy's fairly famous, and Tino's a friend of his, and contacted him, wanted an acoustic guitar. Tino's like, my guitars, no, but I'll call Rich. And he came over and he picked out like 3 of our acoustic guitars, and one of them has to be a 1961 Framus German guitar.
Very lovely.
Very cool guitar. Archtop is what it's known as, because it's got a bubble on the top of it. Anyway, so he took those 3 guitars there, and he couldn't tell me who this person that was going to be there. He's like, it's confidential. Like, it's for Inked magazine, and we can't, tell you. So anyway, a few hours after he left with the guitars, my phone bings, and I open it up, and I'm like, oh, check this out. He's holding my guitar. And along with the photo, Tito was like, you cannot release this until the magazine is released next month. Mind you, this was like 12 months ago or whatever. And 15 months ago, whatever. So I said, okay. So he brings the guitar back. And the guy who's in the picture on it had signed it. I'm like, whoa, you're kidding me. He goes, yeah, man, this is it. And 2 days after that, Post Malone was named Billboard's Rapper of the Year. And that's who it was, Post Malone. So I got it hanging here.
And you can actually find that exact picture on Google.
Yeah, if you looked up Inked Magazine Post Malone, it'll pop right up. You'll see the guitar that's here in the famous Squeezebox Records building, hanging right up behind the counter there with the good old Post Malone signature.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's actually very, very cool, and one of the interesting things I've found is I feel like that the up and coming generation of artists across all genres has a different, like, you have the old guard like Stones and stuff like people who grew up like recording music when records were still the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then you have people who came up performing in an era with CDs and digital, and now you have like this new generation of artists who have an appreciation. Like, I feel like there's like every new artist that, like, all the new artists like don't publish a new album without putting out a vinyl record version of it.
A lot of them that can afford it.
True. There's a production thing there that's a problem.
Right, and the problem is when, because in the beginning anybody could press record. Literally, back in the 70s, we had the big, Columbia, Warner, all those guys, and they, conquered the world. However, when the 45s kind of shit the bed, those machines were still available, and every city had them. So these bands, no matter what kind of music you played, if you wanted to press a 45, you could get 100 of them done for nothing. And those are the records that are valuable now, because any of those bands who made it,
people like Snoop Dogg had like,
big
NWA,
money,
Wu-Tang,
all the hip hop cats from back then, whatever they did, even their cassettes, if it was a promo done by the band, that stuff is ridiculous. You can't find it first thing, and then if you do, you're going to be paying some money for it.
It costs a small fortune, because they're so
because there's only so many of them. And
it's not like they can take one of those records and repress them and copy them into like other records and stuff.
Well, they can, but then again, it's a repress, so now it doesn't carry the weight,
the collector's value of
being
there's 30 years old and being from back before they were worth anything.
Right. Yeah. It just doesn't.
It's not the same.
But if you were to pick up something like, go ahead and try to find Liquid Swords anywhere. A transparent blue copy. Guess what? Squeezebox has it. That's what we do.
You go out and find. So on top of also like just being your bog standard record store, you also, well, not bog standard, but you guys also seek out like exclusive shit that
always.
What are some exclusive shit that you've got right now? So,
just like if you want to talk blues, we got Hooker, John Lee Hooker, B.B. King, all original pressings. mint condition, beautiful stuff. Right now that's what we have.
Are they online?
No, well, there might be a couple, but those are the collector pieces, and I prefer. And this is just
and
the
those
way
go on your WoW wall.
They do.
So for those listening, the WoW wall is basically what Squeezebox has, and it's like a wall behind the counter that has all like the "Holy shit! I can't believe you have that," and it gets those reactions usually.
Yes, we call it the Mighty Mighty Wall, but I like the WoW wall just as good. And we have a couple of boxes of that stuff that are WoW wall contenders, if you will, sitting on the counter, so people can come in and peruse those, and we sell them all the time because it truly is what people are looking for. The collector is looking for.
And it feels better to buy it in store than it does online.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're seeing what you're getting. And here at Squeezebox Records, so when you come in and you're looking through our bins, all of them, if they're $5 or more, are packaged. We curate everything. We clean every record. Unless it's budget, then, if it's beat, then we don't do anything with it. But for the most part, we repackage them so you can remove the vinyl and look at it and make sure. We have a listening station. You can play it, make sure it's what you want. And, that way you get to see what you're buying in store. When you buy it online, that's the whole thing. If I put a record that's been opened online, people can do whatever they want when they get it, and I don't like that, especially the heavy records, because I send you a $200 record through the mail, and you don't like it, and you send me something different back, I'm not going to be happy. So that's the whole idea, is to come in, look at it here. You
Right.
see what you're getting, and it's just the right way to do it. If I put it online and somebody sends me something totally different back, I'm not going to be happy.
Right, but then what do? You can't do anything.
Right, exactly. So we try not to do that.
Right, like the truly valuable, the truly
Right, the higher end stuff that people have repressed and stuff like that. We don't want to take chances of selling an original beautiful piece and receiving back something we didn't send out.
Well, I mean, have you ever considered say you have to listen, we're not shipping this, you have to come and get it.
No, right, yeah, that
like you can buy it, so you can reserve it online and pay like a premium,
and then just have a pickup only thing on it.
Right. It's
I mean, that would be fine. Maybe we can do something like that and put it online as pickup only, pickup in store only.
Right.
That's a good idea, Evan. Maybe we'll put that into on the webpage.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, and we'll maybe do that with some of these records. I mean, they're nice, man. They are. You won't find blues records like this anywhere.
Well, definitely. And I will say the one thing about a system like that is if they don't, you say you got 2 weeks to come pick this up. If you don't, we'll issue you a full refund minus like a $30
restock fee,
like a restock fee, and then you're SOL. But because like the last thing you would want is like somebody reserving it and then not picking it up for 6 months.
Right, exactly. And when somebody else is right in line behind them that would pick it up in a heartbeat.
Right.
So, those are things that we're working on. We got to figure it out and do that. We're new, we're just getting into this stuff.
Honestly, for a new business, I will say that there is a visible, eager fan base.
Yeah.
And as much as this place is a store, it's also a venue. Like, you guys have shows frequently. I mean,
sure.
And I was wondering, like, have you had any interest in doing something with the hip hop scene here in Wilmington?
Always have interest. Matter of fact, we did Red Heart. I can't think of his title right now. Red something. Anyway, he shot a video here.
Nice.
And it was a rap video, hip hop rap, and he released it, and it's doing real well for him. So yeah, we do that stuff here. It's we're not a one genre stop. When you come here, the music you hear here, from barbershop quartet to Slipknot.
When last time I was here, like I saw like in that budget section.
Yeah.
I saw like a hip hop, like I saw like a hip hop artist I've never heard of sitting next to an old Patsy Cline.
That's right.
Sitting next to a like old Aretha Franklin thing,
Yep.
like and just
and Van Halen
Van Halen,
there, and I mean,
like,
because again, you know, we're not exclusive to one genre. We're not in a giant city with 500 record shops.
Well, if you also at that same time, it's like having that diversity of options can't hurt you.
No, it helps.
Yeah, it's like it's. I know plenty of people who have never listened to rock and roll in their life, but they love hip hop, and they'll and they love vinyl, and they love doing all that, and it's like this is a great place to come for that. Yeah, but
So,
So
what did you crush that there? Yeah.
One quick quick turn of phrase, real quick. I was wondering, before you got into this record store business, what did you do?
Yeah, so you know. Back when I was 18 years old, the day I turned 18, I joined the military. You know, I wanted to do something. My father was a veteran, and I was like, well, I'll do that. So that's what I did. I joined the military, went overseas, did my little stint there, came back home, met a girl while I was over there, married her here from the great state of Delaware. She went her way, I went mine, kind of thing. And
you're both really young, so it's
yeah, both really young, in our 20s. And she went her way. I went mine, but I stayed in Delaware. I didn't go back to Michigan because I have 2 children here through that woman. And you know.
So she just run off.
She didn't run off. She just decided that it wasn't what she wanted, and I was okay with that. Not really, but you know.
You're just like I got 2 kids to feed, and I'm just glad I don't have to fight a custody battle.
That's it. I'm staying here, and I gave her everything. She got everything, and. You know, so we kind of split visitation with the kids. I paid child support, saying, you know, the normal thing that happens, I guess. And then, so I decided, you know, look, I got to make money, got to feed my kids, and you know, so I started a painting company, house painting.
Right.
And so I went through that for a few years and was doing really, really well. And I had that company, had a couple of crews forever. We did that, and then I got notification that I had pancreatic cancer. I was at 39 years old, and so we had to go through all that, and that was tough. I lost the company through that because I was so sick for so long.
And here I thought you were just diabetic.
Yeah, well, I wasn't diabetic then. I was just I had pancreatic cancer, and so when they did that operation, there was a couple of men that were in there doing it with me, and they both passed by the time I left the hospital within a week.
And so you're just like looking at it from a case of just like I lucked out.
Well, I'm looking at it like the doctor told me I had 3 months to live.
And here you are.
Funny part about it was his name was Dr. Judge, and I was like, man, that ain't right. Actually, when he said it, it's like getting hit in the face with a 2x4. Literally, man, totally destroyed my life in a matter of a sentence. And I was like, this thing ain't going to take me. And and the doctors told me you got 25% chance of waking up from the surgery, let alone, you know, surviving. I told my wife right then, look, I'll be right back. I went in, got the operation, came out, and I don't know.
I would say that is a testament to how stubborn you are.
That and passion, man. You got to have passion. I want to live. I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see my grandchild. I want to love my wife. You know, I mean, there's so many things you want to do.
Right.
So it didn't have a chance of beating my ass. Honestly,
you beat its ass.
That's it.
Into remission.
Yeah, and I'm here today. Huge complications. You know that shit when they feed you. I had a port put in my arm for chemo, and that stuff just kills all your nerves, and that's what happened. I'm, you know, physically I'm not like I used to be, but I still have passion and drive.
You're probably the spryest 50-something-year-old man I've ever seen in my life.
Well, when you're in your late 50s, man, spry isn't a word. It's a condition. Maybe we do that. That's what us old 50-ass-year-olds do.
Yeah. So after the cancer just goes away.
It didn't just go away. I had 8 years of really, really difficult fight with it. And as soon as they gave me the go-ahead, I was in my late 40s at the time. and nobody was hiring to start another painting. But I wasn't allowed to start another painting business because of the chemicals in the paint and the projection of my health through my pancreas. They were like, the chemicals you breathe in could be really bad.
And you're just like, all right, I gotta find a different outlet.
So I got to do my other thing, which was when I was a kid. I was like, how about a record shop? And I brought that up to my wife back then. She's like, not now. We owe too much.
I heard from friend of the store, Dan Morris, guy who works at Vapey. Like he was my first ever guest on this show.
Oh, okay.
So, friend of the show, Dan Morris. We were chatting.
Cool, Dan.
And he said how you used to be a vape juice supplier for them.
Oh yeah, I do that too. We have Coil Aid, which is something that isn't around here, but I have access to it from Utah. And, we may be doing something like that, depending on what this vape thing is. That climate, too, is all jacked up.
There's a bill in committee right now in the Delaware State Senate that is that's basically what's the word? There's a bill in committee in the state that's basically trying to ban e-cigarettes.
Right.
Which, I mean,
banning the flavors, I think that's what it is.
Right, and I'm just like,
you ban the flavors, you ban vape, period.
Yeah, because, at the end of the day, it's like, I thought last I checked, vaping has a 40% success rate in getting people to quit wholesale, quit smoking or vaping, period, in general.
Right.
I would love to see the statistics of the amount of people who just switched over to vaping from cigarettes, which, while the only thing that should go in your lungs is air, period.
Well, I didn't start cigarettes. People did hundreds of years ago. And we become, it's a horrible thing. It really is.
And I will say, the vaping stuff for me is a case. I don't do it myself. But I see it as a case of just people who vape, who used to smoke. I see my buddy, my friend of the show, Tyler Wilson. He used to be a chronic smoker. Now he vapes, and the amount of energy this man has, he's physically stronger. He's not winded. He's in better shape. It's just I understand. Yes, popcorn lung could possibly be a thing, but in comparison, but when you compare it to the poison that is cigarettes,
tobacco,
right? It's and that being said, I would rather first off, kids shouldn't be smoking anything, period. But if I had a choice between say my little sister, who's 18 years old, having a smoking habit or having a vaping habit, I'd pick the vaping habit, even if it was a fucking Juul, just because, yes, nicotine's bad, but you have, a bunch of other chemicals and shit in there, that's just...
About 700 in regular tobacco. In vape, there's some shit that people were using that might not have been dirty vape or whatever, but these companies that are actually pushing vape forward use the cleanest stuff. So when you use
they use compounds that are all FDA approved.
That we use in our food every day.
Right.
That's the thing. So to ban the flavors is basically killing an industry and throwing people under the bus that will go back to tobacco. And the problem with big tobacco is they're the ones masterminding this so they can run and own vape, which I think is so screwed up.
Philip Morris owns Juul.
Absolutely.
So and here's the thing, Juul will still be around because at the end of the day, all they got to do, what's gonna go away is probably it's sad because I see it as there are people I know who would probably be dead today,
from smoking tobacco.
Right. It's are they the picture of health? No, but at least they don't have lung cancer.
And back to popcorn lung, you're right, man. That's a possibility, strong possibility.
And I'm not denying it. I'm just saying that it is the reality of that is better than cigarettes.
My research on popcorn lung. Let's try that. since you mentioned it, I'm going to give you a little lesson of what I've learned.
What you learn?
So popcorn lung is a real thing. I mean, people have gotten it.
But you work in a factory that mass produces like.
Well, what they've found is the dry stuff that they use to make the butter flavored liquid for that when you go to a theater. You say, "Hey, I want butter," and they squirt that butter. That's where popcorn lung in its dried state. They would use it for over a 30-year period every day in a factory, breathing in that buttered flavored stuff. Over 30 years, they found maybe 2 people out of that factory that got that. All right, it's a statistic.
Right. 30
years, nonstop, 8 hours a day, breathing in the dry shit that causes popcorn lung. 30 years, day after day, breathing. Yeah. So it is a possibility. But the minute amount that you get in vape is, statistically, it would probably never happen. But you have to have that tag there because it has happened over 30 years of breathing it in.
Right. So. And it's like, at the end of the day, I think the pros of it outweigh the con. But at the same time, nobody who doesn't vape or smoke should start.
Right. Period. That's the truth.
And that's kind of where the problem is that people have with it. It's because the anti-smoking campaigns have been so successful that kids who would never who vape will never smoke, even if they lose.
Yeah, they take away their vaping privileges. They'll never smoke anyway.
Right, because but the thing is that with these Juuls, they might have such a bad nicotine addiction that they might just fuck it, I'll do it just because I need that head high.
Yeah, I'm not, I think it's wrong to label something right away without any kind of.
Well, they use for the children. It's for the children.
Right. And that's what they're using.
For but the thing is, my argument in that regard, and we're going to dip into something politically here real quick, and then we're going to go back to music and records.
Thank you.
If you guys care about children so much, why the fuck aren't you paying? Why the fuck are in the bottom half of the 50 states education system? Teachers have to Uber as a side hustle to pay their bills.
Yeah, crazy world.
So it's why did my high school have 4 administrators?
Right.
One of which we never saw because he only associated with outside forces in the board. We had 3 disciplinary agents, one of which we got a new one every year because they were constantly in rotation. Stupid.
Yeah.
But back to music. So if you were to, one of the things I like to do, with guests when it comes to music and stuff like that, who are knowledgeable about music and stuff, I like to do their Mount Rushmore of artists.
Oh boy, I mean,
wheelhouse
is.
And here's the caveat with it: it's who you would pick right now. This list could change the next second after you're done, but just at this current moment.
Yeah.
What 4 would you pick?
4.
Across any genre, across anything.
Right. I am, my wheelhouse, for me personally, goes back to blues rock. That's where I'm at, comfortably. So, any 4 right now, I would have to put, Jack White because of his industrial rock kind of sense. And
I will say that I saw a video of his vinyl live recording studio thing down in Nashville. That's really fucking cool.
It's amazing. The guy has done nothing but push the vinyl records forward, and his music is amazing. So I really dig him. I would say Pink Floyd just because of what they've contributed to the world of rock and roll, but I don't know how much rock and roll Pink Floyd is versus ambient music or something in that.
To be clear, all of Pink Floyd OG or Pink Floyd the later years?
Pink Floyd OG is the thing. The later years came through OG. That's a fact. But, So that would be the first two, I would say. And then, you cannot say, I have a couple of issues with Led Zeppelin. But
Robert Plant probably being a pedophile being one of them.
I didn't know he was a pedophile.
He had the Elvis Presley, R. Kelly type of thing where he was constantly fooling around with 14-year-old girl. There's this one 14-year-old group that he brought around, and when she eventually became of age, he married her.
Oh, yes. Didn't know that about Robert Plant. Yeah. But their music and Jimmy Page and taking shit though from Willie Dixon and all the old blues guys.
Mothership was one of my favorite albums. I didn't realize
Mothership. That's Parliament. Mothership and Venture. You mean Mothership Zeppelin 2? Yeah. That's it. Yeah, great albums. The problem is
I didn't realize that they stole so much of that shit.
Right, and I didn't either.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
What are your sidebar? What is your opinions on Elvis then?
Elvis, not
all the theft that he did and stuff.
Yeah, no opinion on him because he's not relevant anymore. That's the thing. But these other bands like Zeppelin, who done a lot of blues stuff and didn't kind of give credit where credit is due. But I didn't know about that stuff until later on anyway. So, but for what they had done in my childhood, the music I listened to, they would have to be up there. So you got Pink Floyd, you got Led Zeppelin, you got Jack White. The White Stripes, or whatever.
If I were to pick a Mount Rushmore of rock and roll, those three would probably be on there. I would probably put Queen on there too.
If you're looking at that, John, you mean?
Yeah, but that's just me for classic rock. You're still doing the original thing.
No, and that's and I agree with you to a point because there's so many good.
Oh my God, yeah.
Rock and roll band. How do you do it, right?
Yeah, it's
so
you have freaking Jack or the White Stripes, which is its own freaking entity.
It really is. And all the stuff that they do, but those three, and then the fourth one would have to be
B.B. King.
When I look at it, and what really got me moving as a kid would be Chuck Berry, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, he's because my dad
Johnny
listened.
Be Good and all that.
Because my father listened to him, I think, and my mother listened to Billy Crash Craddock and Freddie Fender. She was the country part of the family. My dad was the rocker of the family.
And this is old. And I'm guessing your mom was Blair and stuff like Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline, John Jay, and all them.
Yeah. Tammy Wynette. She loved Billy Crash Craddock and those Dolly Parton, and she loved them all. And there's a lot of really good music there, but the stuff that made you get up and move a little bit, that was my dad's stuff. So I was more attracted to that, the testosterone thing, rock and roll. So that would be it at this point, but that could change in 20 minutes. So,
yep, I would say if I were to pick my Mount Rushmore right now, I'd probably pick for four. I would probably pick Queen.
Yep.
The Wu-Tang Clan.
Whoa.
Dean Martin.
Nice.
And Johnny Cash. But then, as I think about it, I could probably pick someone like George Thorogood.
Yeah.
Tribe Called Quest. Frank Sinatra. And Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, that's a well-rounded kind of.
My problem as a music guy is I like specific things, and as I leech into more genres, my what I like expands. But it's it takes time. It's I only listened to Led Zeppelin when I first started listening to classic rock. I only listened to them. And then I expanded, When I started listening to hip-hop, I only listened to, say, the Hamilton soundtrack. But then I found better hip-hop. Not that Hamilton, soundtrack isn't bad.
Hamilton's great, but it's mass-produced.
Right. It's my stepfather put me on to a Tribe Called Quest, which just, because he's a big Tribe Called Quest fan, he loves them, and then then I saw the video, like the American, like the Music Video Awards, and I saw Missy Elliott's performance, and I'm just like, I saw that 8-minute thing, and I'm just like,
whoa,
holy shit. And then I look, and I will say, Missy Elliott's video, like, I'm not a music video guy. I quite frankly hate them, because I like being able to, like, have my own imagination when I listen to a song, and a music video kind of kills that.
Sure.
But her music videos are a work of art.
Yeah.
Like the music video "Get Your Freak On" and like is a visual spectacle. Lose Control is another one as well. You know, they're both just they're just so visually impressive and stunning. Like it makes me like. But when I see, like, on the videos, like, say on Lose Control, like, they have like a camera with like a pen and touchpad. Like, I'm just like, that dates it.
Oh yeah.
That dates it
for sure.
You know, but I rarely am able, like, my friend Jaquan, friend of the podcast, Jaquan Jones, put me on to Run the Jewels. You know, I'd never heard their stuff before, and he showed me Run the Jewels, and I just blasted through the album for a week, and I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and and the sad part is I can't ever, like, go to somebody and say, yo, I just heard this shit for the first time. It's really, like, because the reaction I get is, this is the first time you're hearing this shit?
What's wrong with you?
Like,
where are you been? Living under a rock?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But what's nice about music, though, and you're the one, you know, you just said it, you might go to your friends and they'll say that, but see, music is filled with rabbit holes. Mm-hmm. And those holes that, you know, when you get older, as you get older, Evan, you'll be like, you'll hear something as you're air hustling, or a friend will tell you, isn't that way we move music forward? Mm-hmm. You know, and you'll hear it, no, I played it for a week, and now I'm like, and man, I love it.
And then 3 months later, then
it comes up, you know it, man. You're all like into there. So, good stuff.
Rich, thank you so much for coming on.
Man, I appreciate you. I really do.
I'm going to make sure I have you on again soon in the near future. Maybe with Craig or one of the other guys coming on.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, this has been the High Soapbox. We're going to go on to our shout out segment real quick, and then we will bid you adieu. So shout outs to a new little project I've been working on called My Newsfeed Center. It is a place where I post, like, the funniest memes and videos I found, and if you find anything that's really funny or interesting, please send it to please use the contact form there, or send it to me through Instagram at haggardinnovations.com, and we'll put it up. I also write satire articles on there, and please go check them out. I'm kind of proud of it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Shout outs to the Instagram page at no.2Brian, no.2_Brian. No.2 is a up and coming rapper who's very, very good. He very lyrical, old school style of rap. Kind of blends the sort of like Post Malone and Childish Gambino with like older style of something more lyrical, like Pac or Biggie. So go check him out on there, and that's a good rapper you can go check out. Also, shout out to my boy Young Seta, a Wilmington famous rapper. His ad on Instagram is the exact same thing, Young Seta. I believe he just put out a new EP recently, or it's in the work. Go check out his Instagram on there. And a big final shout out to Squeezebox Records and Mr. Rich here for having us and hosting us for this episode of the High Soapbox. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the High Soapbox. Rich, thank you so much for coming on, and we will see you guys in the next one.